This is a sports catastrophe production. Hey there, Heather Ho there. Jeff Cutter Diamond welcoming you to another sports catastrophe on this day. And on this day, July the 12th, in 1979, one of the most improbable days happened. A baseball game basically turned into a anti-disco tirade that basically may have killed disco and all that. So it's strange how a sporting event actually transcends, fads and all that. So basically, the 1970s were the decade of disco. There were some good rock bands, but basically it was almost all about disco and all that. And a lot of people said that, disco was just being unfair to everyone else. They were doing the white leisure suits, and then the popularity of Saturday Night Fever and all that basically brought disco to the front for us. And all that, those weird mirror balls and all that. So, what does this have to do with the baseball game? Well, I'll tell you. So, anyway, in Chicago, there was this famous guy, disc jockey by the name of Steve Wall, who basically was fired from one of the stations because it decided to be an all disco format. So, he got hired onto a rival station, and basically, he would smash disco records over the air and all that. It got to the point that, he was anti-disco and all that. And Chicago White Sox owner Bill Feck's son, Mike Feck, decided to capitalize on it and tell Steve Dahl to do a promotion in which he would blow up disco records between games of a doubleheader. So the doubleheader started on July 12, 1979. It was the White Sox and the Tigers. The White Sox were not really that great and all that. Attendance was down. Bill Feck was trying his best to do a lot of things. But of course, the White Sox once played the game in softball shorts, which didn't help. So anyway, the White Sox and Tigers both weren't really good in '79 and all that. And the Tigers beat the White Sox in the first game 4-1. Now came the second game. Before the second game, Steve Dahl decided to get on the field in a Jeep and basically have the big box of disco records flung in front of the outfield and all that. But of course, the game was huge because they had like 50,000 fans. Okay, great. Only one problem though. I doubt there was more than 10,000 baseball fans. Basically, if you brought a disco record in the game, you can get in the game for 98 cents. So, anyway, the fans basically weren't baseball fans because the interior of Comiskey Park, the old Comiskey Park, if you will, smelled like marijuana and a VW bus and all that. So basically, yeah, it was just disastrous and all that. The rock and roll guys, hippies, basically, they were all there. So anyway, yeah, these weren't baseball fans. So basically, Steve Dahl did his stuff, and basically, they blew up the disco records. However, that set off a melee for all melees. Basically, the fans decided to run on the field and try to destroy the disco records themselves. And also the fact that, they were setting up bonfires on the Comiskey Park field and basically, to get rid of disco and all that. This was basically a protest against disco during a baseball game in which many people weren't really baseball fans. The White Sox tried their best. Bill Feck tried his best to get on the field and fix things. Harry Carey tried to sing "Take Me Out to the Ball Game." Like, God, you really think that would work? So anyway, the White Sox ended up having to forfeit Game 2 of the doubleheader because of the big hole in the outfield. And all that. The White Sox weren't really that good until 1983. Now, the Tigers would take a little bit longer to get better. Maybe 83, 84. But anyway, things were bad from the White Sox, from a baseball point of view. Mike Feck was basically blackballed from doing promotions. Basically, his best promotions were in the minor leagues leagues. He couldn't even be a minor league guy for like 10 years. So basically, he was upset about being kicked out of baseball for the disco demolition thing. Basically, this was akin to the 10-cent beer night in Cleveland in 1974. For promotions really going awry and all that. Bill Feck, a couple years later, would sell his controlling interest in the team to Jerry Reinsdorf and all that. So, yeah, it was terrible from a baseball point of view. However, from a cultural point of view, this was basically one of the big events that led to disco's downfall from the media mainstream. And basically, it kind of worked in a sense. Disco was falling flat off the things. Rock bands would be back in prominence, and no one would try a disco thing and all that. Steve Dahl was a hero somehow, in some way. Anyway, I'm Jeff Diamond. I do.